I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for June 26, 2024. Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Stracco.
Here.
Commissioner Partha.
So we have a very special evening. For one reason in particular, we have some Hatfield heroes with us tonight. And we'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes, and that's kind of the highlight of our evening. But as we start every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like our Hatfield heroes, who will identify and kind of take some pictures and have some fun with a little bit later, if you would all lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening, that'd be great. Okay, we have to do some boring housekeeping items before we jump right into the fun. So just give us a couple of minutes. We'll get through that as quickly as we can. All right, is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. Any questions or concerns about the agenda? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of approving that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Consent items. Is there a motion to move the consent items into the record? Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Andrus, second by Commissioner Stracco. Those items include the Board of Commissioners meeting minutes of May 8th and May 22nd, the Treasurer's Report for the month of June, the bills paid bills in the amount of $287,738.66, and unpaid bills in the amount of $533,361.16. The EMSC monthly report for the month of May, and the North Penn Water Authority meeting minutes of April 23, 2024. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those consent items into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, those are moved into the record. Okay, any citizens' comments on agenda items? All right, I don't see anyone running up to the podium, so I'm going to ask if we're going to move on to our Hatfield Hero presentation, which is the Aquatic Center lifeguards who are being recognized for a number of saves all at the same time on the same day. And I'm going to ask that if you would meet me at the podium. That is Olivia Nguyen, Gianna Quigley, Austin Graham, Trey Quigley, Sahir Arifin, and Emma Felton. Mark Fusco, who is with us now. Sorry, I missed your name there. All right, I promised them that I would make this as painless as possible, because when I came over to ask them to do the Pledge of Allegiance, they had a little bit of a deer in the headlight look upon them. And that's fine, because this is an unfamiliar setting for them. And so let me start off by saying this. All of us were your age at one point. I know that's hard to believe, right? Like, how is the prior generation ever actually like us? We were. And I have to tell you, I know a lot of people, and I remember those days. I would not have been able to do the things that you did just on the day that we saw the video and how things went. I certainly would not have been able to kind of contain myself, compose myself, and to make that save the way that everyone was able to do so. And so it's not just a matter of being in that moment, but preparing for that moment. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and what a great commitment you have to the township and why we're thanking you. So for the people, let me tell the folks a little bit about what happened for those who don't know. So on June 20th, this group, fantastic group, led by our pool manager, John Taylor, acted quickly, realized that they had a situation where two patrons needed to be saved at the same time. So, look, I'm not much of a pool goer, but I had a brother who was a lifeguard, and I have to tell you, I spoke to him, and he said it's very infrequent, if ever, that you have a saving, let alone two people at the exact same time, which makes it twice as difficult for sure. So the lifeguard stationed in the area, Olivia, utilized her Red Cross training skills and executed that save. She jumped right in and saved two gentlemen, two rather kind of big guys from what I could tell, right? And with the help of her teammates who came running in very quickly, I saw that. It was very impressive how they were able to care for the two of them. Not long after that, just moments later, one of our staff then went into the pool and needed some assistance, and the same team helped their own, which really is just another testament to them. They didn't just do their job and walk away. They were there to support and help each other. And so, you know, we have the emergency services people who come in during the year, and I've often said this to them. It's not just about the moment in time when you save someone's life, like you did, but it's really, there's two moments to every rescue. It's all the commitment and all the effort that you put in before that moment, right? The training, the desire to fill the role, and to be willing to put yourself out there to possibly be in a position where you have to complete such a save. And then taking all of that experience, knowledge, and training and putting implement it in the moment when it is most needed. So we're not here just thanking you and congratulating you as Hatfield heroes for the moment in time on the 20th, but it's for the commitment and your efforts even before then, so that you knew exactly what to do. It really was a fantastic team effort. So we have some, if you don't know already, we have Hatfield heroes here. We recognize people who've done outstanding things. This is ironically the second time in the last few months that we've had a life-saving recognition. And so we can't be any more proud of you. I mean, just the effort that you put in advance, the things that you did that day, the way that you've composed yourself since then. We just hear great things, and you know, we've heard great things about all of you. So we want to thank each of you. And if I wasn't clear, let me explain. Olivia Nguyen is the young lady who dove in and saved the two gentlemen. Gianna Quigley, Austin Graham, Trey Quigley, Sahir Arafin, and Emma Felton were the rest of the team that came in and helped save the day. So we'd like to give you, just as a little token of our appreciation, Hatfield Hero medals, and Commissioner Andrus is going to share those with you now. So before we come over and have you take pictures over here, I neglected to thank moms, dads, family, friends, little brothers, little sisters who may be at home, because not only did you put into work, you know, all of their great deeds as parents who helped raise you, but you're now, you know, you're going to be recognized by your siblings and your friends as a Hatfield hero, not just the medal, but as having done this fantastic thing. And it's something that you're going to be able to be proud of for the rest of your life. And it's also a recognition that your peers, your peers are going to be able to say, oh yeah, you know what? He helped out with that, or she helped out with that. And that's quite a thing to be able to carry with you for the rest of your life. It's something to be very proud of. So congratulations on behalf of the entire board. And we have 18,000 residents here, and I'm sure sometimes it feels like there are 18,000 people at the pool. While it's not quite that many all the time, we want to say thank you. You really did a fantastic job.
Bob, come on, please.
I don't care how many people. Painless, painful, little of both, little of both.
There's no obligation for you guys to stay.
Oh, you didn't know you had to stick around for the rest of the meeting?
There you go.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I think it was, I
Normal crowd, here we go.
think it was painful for the adults who didn't want to get in the photo. The lifeguards were fine. And now we're left with a monstrous crowd of two. All right, so we know citizens' comment is actually just for two. All right, so we're going to move into our action items, which I think we're going to move through relatively quickly. First is the acquisition of 2514 Anthony Drive in the amount of $472,500. Aaron, before I take the motion, do you want to give us a little background, or should I take the motion first?
This is the last of the 4 homes to be acquired. Commissioner Lestracco and I were actually just out there with some current residents, just talking about the demolition of all these homes and some of the work that we're going to do to help the current conditions regarding some of the flooding. So this is the last of 4. I think the commissioners and the public are probably pretty well aware of this project by now, that we've talked about it often. So last one, and moving on to next time we'll talk about this publicly will be
Okay, all right, so the motion is to approve the acquisition and authorize township manager to effectuate all documents associated with the transaction of the acquisition of 2514 Anthony Drive in the amount of $472,500. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lestracco, second by Commissioner Andrus. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, then I'll pose the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. And I'm sure that that family is going to be very pleased. All right, action item number 2, is a motion to approve the purchase of the playground equipment from General Recreation Incorporated in the amount of $395,701 for the Clemens Park renovation playground purchase via CoStars. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lustracco. Aaron, I think you've got this one. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is our, unless you have a slide or pictures.
Always.
Yep. All right, I will defer to you then.
All right,
I will
thanks,
defer to you.
thanks,
Yep.
Mr. President. When I'm done this item, Commissioner Lustracco is going to give a Parks and Rec update since this month. Our workshop, since we combined them, I don't have it on there, so she's just going to do that after. Obviously, the board is well aware, 2 weeks ago tonight, we had our groundbreaking ceremony with the Garden of Health. Both boards were in attendance to kick off the project. If you've driven by Clemens Park this week, contractors are flying. It's good to see one of our projects get going. So on tonight's agenda is approval of the playground, which we've talked about for years. This is a concept design of the playground itself. It's considered an inclusive playground. As you can see, there are many features that are friendly for children in wheelchairs and children of all abilities. Some of the other things just keep in mind of the design is based on feedback from parents with kids of all abilities. We reached out to several of our friends throughout the town and some of in some classrooms around the community to get feedback from kids. And when you do that, they have a lot of ideas. Most of them we can't afford, but we did land on ones that made sense. Also, what we heard from parents was we need shade. We need somewhere to sit, so we have a shade structure in the middle there. One thing that is not shown on the concept plan that we are installing based on feedback from parents as well is a split rail fence that's going to go along the entire playground. We've heard from some parents where them a peace of mind with some of their kids that have a tendency to maybe wander off. So this will give them that was based on the feedback. So tonight's agenda item is to approve the purchase of the equipment that you see here. Expect that to be the last piece of the project once the site work is completed and the pad is ready, hopefully later this year, or we may end up doing a ribbon cutting early spring of next year. So concept of what it will look like, and we're excited to finally park.
All right, that's great. Actually, I hadn't seen that design, and I think that looks great. It's impressive, and it was exciting to see that the work started and being done. So, all right, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Okay, action item number 3. Is there a motion for Oh, I'm sorry, I've skipped. We're going to have an update for the Park and Rec.
Thank you, President Zippel. Just to go through everything happening this month and next month and August for Parks and Rec, there's outdoor pickleball, and that is running 8 to 1 o'clock on Mondays through Fridays, and that's at Chestnut Street. Also, we have Music Fest concert series. We just had one last week, or this past Monday, and I heard it went really well. July 8th, July 22nd, August 5th, and August 19th. Those will be our concert nights, and that is at School Road Park. Movies in the park, that's happening as well. That will be starting tomorrow. Super Mario Brothers movie. And the activities will start at 5:30. The movie starts at 8, School Road Park again. And then we have, just to save the date, Friday, July 12th, Little Giants, that's another movie. August 9th, another movie, The Avengers. So again, those start at 8 p.m. Now, for National Parks and Rec Month, there is an event on Friday, July 12th, also at School Road Park. There'll be a lot of events there. And for more information, you can check our website. Also, Move in May pop-up event that has been rescheduled to July. That'll be July 26th. And there'll be a lot of fun activities with fun fields that night, 6 to 8, also School Road Park. Dash and Splash 5K, that will be August 14th. That's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. So again, please check that out. That will be at the Hatfield Aquatic Center, and please check our website for more information. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Good update. Okay, action item number 3. Is there a motion for approval of the sewer and plumbing expenses for Calmer Fire Company, Richard and Son Custom Craftsman in the amount of $27,500?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus, second by Commissioner Lestracco. Any questions or comments? I mean, we've discussed that we're periodically approving expenses for improvements at the Calmer Fire Station. This is one of those.
Last one.
Is it the last one?
Last one. This item in number 4 are the last of projects we've discussed.
Okay, all right. So, so this being the last one, is there any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 4, is there a motion for approval for the Stewart Basin renovation final invoice in the amount of $37,346.50? Motion by Vice President Rogers,
Second.
second by Commissioner Lestracco. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is our basin final invoice. We've been improvements on this as well. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. And our last action item is a motion for approval for a John Deere compact excavator purchase in the amount of $66,607.15. Is there such a motion? Motion by Commissioner Andrus. Second by Vice President Rogers. Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a part of our budget, and when we have a larger item, even though it's in our budget, best practice is that we put it on our agenda and publicly vote on it.
Correct. And just one item or one note is that budgeted $70,000, so we are coming in under. Larry Hughes would like to use this piece of machine. Imagine, based on.
I think,
But it is a smaller excavator that our crew can navigate some tighter spaces out there in the field, which is the way.
given Larry's service to the township, I think we could probably figure out a way to do something like that. Greatly appreciated. All right, so any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call it a question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. All right, we're going to move on to our township manager's report.
President, just one item I wanted to make the board aware of and potentially get some feedback. And we do have 2 former commissioners from the ward where this work is being done, so I'd imagine they'll be interested also. As you know, the 2024 paving program included Durstein Road, which it's one of our wider roads, it's one of our straighter roads, and when you have a wide and straight road, the tendency is then you have speeding. Something we've observed out there for many years, and we've heard from residents and feedback. Also then, with the addition of the connector road that runs parallel, which is intended to take a lot of the trucks off of Durstein and our other local roads, which is expected to open toward the fall of 2025, we decided, and we also were asked by several different groups, one being a local transportation association that lobbies for different types of walkability or bike safety. So with that feedback, we were proposing to stripe Durstein after we pave it other roads, which existing condition of Durstein, which so what we'd like to do is create an environment where we have more narrow cartways, which traffic engineers will say that can reduce speed just by what they call having a road diet. In addition, then we have a 3-foot buffer in between, and then a 5-foot space for biking, running, with some stencils that designates that area to have safer space for them. This is in real time, not here in Hatfield, but in another community of what on Durstein. So we accomplish a few things by doing this. Is you shrink the road, you hopefully slow down the cars, and we provide a space for people that want to bike or jog or run outside of the sidewalk on the asphalt that area. One other advantage that it gives us as well is you see the connector road in green. That portion of the connector road from Cowpath to Allentown will have a dedicated trail that the commissioners are well aware of. We were involved in that process with PennDOT for years. And this provides a nice, safe link connecting to Elroy, which we recently have installed additional sidewalks there to make a full connection last year. So there'll be an opportunity to bike down Durstein, up Elroy, and then you connect to the connector roads, which is a 10-foot wide trail where you can have bikes going both directions. And you can see the trail if you drive by down Elroy. It goes outside of the sound barriers that have already been installed. So it's a nice opportunity to add a different feature than we have in most of our roads, and I think we can accomplish several things by doing that. So that's what's being proposed for after the paving, which we expect to happen at some point in August. So this month or next month, but most likely August. We did get some feedback from all those groups based on this design, and everybody's pretty excited about it. So we hope value in doing differently on this road and why.
And the dimensions you just mentioned of a 3-foot buffer and then a 5-foot bike path, that would be what our dimensions would be?
That would be what Durstein would be, correct.
That would be.
You're using the existing roadway, no widenings being proposed, but it is wide enough to fit all of those features in Durstein.
All right. Looks like we have a consensus, certainly, at least at this point. And then is that approved? Do we need to vote on that, or we just move ahead?
I think we can just move ahead. It's budgeted. It's part of our road program. We always stripe the roads when we're completed. We're slightly differently because of the width and the straightaway. And there's been other roads in the township. Broad Street, we had PennDOT do a similar thing. They shrunk. And in the industrial park, exactly. We have a trail along North Penn Road, actually painted green. So where we can, we think it makes sense to make our community.
All right.
Appreciate your support. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay. All right. Then we're going to move swiftly to our solicitor's report. Anything for this evening, Mr. Solicitor? Okay. Then our citizens' comments. Commissioner Rowe back there. Anything from our former commissioners? Two members, 2 former commissioners. All right, seeing neither of them hop up to the podium, then this is a relatively brief meeting. Unless somebody has something else for the good of the order,
Yeah.
I'll entertain. Oh, you do?
I would propose that you guys cut the ribbon for the trail. Yeah, for Durstein.
Are we voting on that?
Great biking down there.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
All right, since there's no citizens' comments, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lustracco,
Second.
second by Vice President Rogers. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned for the evening. Thanks for coming out, folks.